and welcome to tips and tricks on how to use your ClassCalc while you're taking your assignments, doing your quizzes, or even your tests. I will go over the tricks based on the topic. So the first topic would be converting between fractions and decimals. So here I have my first problem, 82.5% to a fraction. So when I have to convert a percentage to a fraction, I know I have to divide it by 100. So here I'm going to simply go ahead and type this in, 82.5, because 82.5 is 82.5, and divide that with 100. And this is my decimal value. When I click on this green button, it gives me an option to change my decimal to a fraction, to a scientific notation, or to square root. I'm going to go ahead and click fraction, and you see my answer is 33 over 40, and that's exactly what I got here, 33 over 40. So this option kind of lets you change from fraction to decimals and decimals to fraction, and even your scientific notations. If you click on SCN, that kind of changes your answer to a scientific notation, back to a fraction, back to a decimal. So here I have another problem, which is 12.5% to a fraction. So I know I have to divide the percentage by 100 to change it into a fraction. This gives me a decimal. I simply click on the decimal and click change to fraction, and there I have my answer as 1 over 8. So here is my next question, 0.0078 as scientific notation. So let me go ahead and try that. 0.0078, and I'm going to change that to scientific notation. I have 7.8 times 10 to the power negative 3. So you can actually change a decimal to a scientific notation as well. The next one is 48300. They're asking me to change that to a scientific notation. Simply click DEC and then SCN. There I have my scientific notation. The next problem is asking you to change this entire number to a scientific notation. When you have a big number like this, I always check and cross-check. So 85, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go. It automatically changed that to a scientific notation for me. The next question is to simplify an expression. You have to keep in mind there are no brackets in your ClassCalc. So let me go ahead and type, use parentheses for my brackets as well. So 9 plus 5, this is to the power 3, and then minus, oops, not there, minus, I have a bracket, but because I don't have a bracket in ClassCalc, I'm going to use my parentheses. 4, parentheses, 9, plus 3, close parentheses, and my answer is 86. It's very easy to go wrong in questions like this, so please make sure you are checking and cross-checking your signs, your order of operations. So it's 9 plus, 5 cube, minus 4, parentheses, 9 plus 3. Now let's check the next one. So let me go ahead and plug this one in. This is 70 divided by, so as soon as I click divided by, it's going to give me a fraction. That's okay. 10. And then I have a plus. Oops, where is the plus? Plus 4, parentheses, 6 minus 2. Close parentheses, and there I have my answer as 23. So always check and cross-check. Okay, so the next one is, you can go ahead and plug in. I don't have to do this problem for you. Let me go ahead and work out one simplifying algebraic expression, but let me see which one. Okay, let me do this one as well really quick. So it's negative 2 times, I don't have a bracket, so parentheses, 16 divided by, and then I have parentheses again, 8 minus 4, close parentheses, that was a square, right? And again, go back up here, close parentheses, and everything was a square. And my answer is -2. So always check and cross-check, -2. So I have -2, -2. So I have a bracket. I don't have a bracket, so I have parentheses. 16, 16 divided by, there you go, divided by. And then everything was in parentheses, everything is in parentheses, and then everything is a square. So always check and cross-check what you're doing. That way you don't make a mistake. Okay, let me go ahead and do one problem like this. So here I have, I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I have 7x, oops, there's a parenthesis, minus 2 plus 10 negative 5x plus 6. So you need to distribute. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times -2 is -14 plus 10 times -5 is -50x. 10 times 6 is +60. Now I go ahead and combine my like terms. So these are my like terms, the x's. So let me go ahead and combine those. -50 plus 7 is -43x. I'm going to go ahead and combine my constants, -14 and +60. That gives me +46. And there you go. That's my answer. -43 plus +46. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one is to evaluate your expression. When they say evaluate, that means you're plugging in the value. So what I would like to do is I would like to go ahead and show you how to use your class calc. So 9 divided by, I have a y here, right? Minus 8y plus 2. What you need to do is you need to make sure your variables are in parentheses. That way you are not making any mistakes. So let me go ahead and put them in parentheses really quick. Oops, that's a 9. So there you go. I have them in parentheses. Now they're asking me to evaluate. So simply you go to your, let me expand this, make it bigger so you can see. So you simply go to your y and change it to a 2. So I'm going to go ahead, change this to a 2 because they asked me for a 2. I'm going to go to this y and change it to a 2. And there you go. My answer is -9.5. So that's how you evaluate your expression. Let's try one more. Not this. All right. So here I have, I'm going to go ahead and clear this. I have 7 and I have a m. I always put them in parentheses. Minus 4, I have an n, always put them in parentheses, minus 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my m. They said the m is -4, so -4. And they said the n is -9. And there I have it. My answer is 6. The answer is 6. So always make sure you put them in parentheses. That's the best way to do. And let's try one more. So it's 3. Again, parentheses. I have x cube, close parentheses. It's a cube. You always have to make sure you're checking and cross-checking. Minus, open parentheses again. It does take you some time, but trust me, this will make sure you have the right answer. square plus 2, open parentheses, x, close parentheses, plus 9. And they're asking me to evaluate for x is equal to -2. All I have to do is change it to -2. Change it to -2. And then change it to -2. And my answer is -23. And there you go. Let's move on to graphing linear equation by plotting points. I have an expression here, I have an equation here, y is equal to -2x plus 4. Keep in mind, y is nothing but a function of x. So when I type it in my graphing calculator, so from scientific, I will move on to graphing. I know it's graphing because I have the coordinate points here, and I'm not going to type it as y. I will go ahead and type it as f of x because my y is a function of x. And I'm going to show you why you need to do that. So I'm going to say f of x. Remember why I did that? Because my y is nothing but my function of x. So you always have to plug in your y as f of x. And you're going to see why in a minute. So f of x is equal to -2x plus 4. So as you can see, I do have my, let me go ahead and move this down. As you can see, I do have my graph here. So there are two ways to get your points. As you can see, you have 0, 4, right? That's one point. And you have 2 and 0. That's another point. So right away, you can get these 2 points and use them to plot. But if they ask you for more than 2, this is what you do. So I have for, I'm going to say, let me find out the value of f of 1. And you see my value is 2. As you can see, the value here is 2. Now let me go ahead and change my function to find the value f of 2. So when I say f of 2, oops. When I say f of 2, this is what you have. 0. Now you can go back and find f of 3. So now you see why I ask you to plug in as f of, so you can find the value. So what this means is when your x is 3, your coordinate x is 3, the y value is -2. You can go ahead and plot that there. Or if you want to find out for f of 4, f of 4 is -4. What that means is when your x value is 4, your y value is -4. So that's a coordinate point right there. So you don't have to do a lot of math here. Just by plugging in the function f of x, you can actually find the x and y coordinates. So let me do one more. I'm going to find f of 0. So what that means is when my x value is 0, my y value is 4. All right, let's try one more. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, let's try this one. And again, I will not be typing in as y. I will always type it in as f of x because that's my function. F of x is equal to 4x divided by 3. Move it to the side, minus 2. Now I can simply go down and pick my points. As you can see, this is 0, -2. I have 1 point. My other point is 1.5 and 0. And if you think it's hard for you to plot such points, I understand. So what you need to do is you're going to come back here and say f of. So the trick here is because it is being divided by 3. Because it's being divided by 3, I only take the multiples of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take f of 3, which gives me a 2. Or I'm going to take f of 6, which gives me a 6. Or I'm going to take f of 9, which gives me a 10. So if it's divided by 2, you use multiples of 2. If it's divided by 4, you use multiples of 4. If it's divided by 3, you use multiples of 3. So my coordinates are 3 and 2. Do you see that? And if I take a 6, I have 6 and 6. If I take a 9, where am I? If I take a 9, I have my coordinate point as 9 and 10. So the next question is understanding the function notation, and many of you had questions on this one. So first you need to know what's an independent and what's a dependent variable. So in this case, let me go ahead and write my function. I have f of y is equal to 25 minus 3y. And they're asking me what is my independent variable. So as I can see, my entire function is in terms of y. So my independent variable is y in this case. Let's say I have f of s. F of s is equal to 25 minus 3s. As you can see, my entire function is in terms of s, so s would be my independent variable. Now if I have f of, let's say I have a smiley face, is equal to 25 minus 3 times a smiley face. So because my functions are in terms of smiley face, my independent variable is a smiley face. Always keep that in mind. All right, let's try for the next one. Okay, functions like this I really enjoy because I simply have to plug it into my calculator. Remember what I told you, you will go ahead and plug f of x equal to -3. Remember, you will always put a parenthesis for your x, and it's a square plus 2 times x plus 1. And what are they asking me? They're asking me f of 3. So all I have to do is plug f of 3, and there you go. I have my function as -20. Or you can simply go back here and change everything to a 3. So the two ways of doing it, you can plug in the function as f of x, or let me go ahead and type in one more time. Let me copy this actually. No, it's not letting me. So step 1, the first method is you're going to plug in your function as f of x with your parentheses and find out what they're asking you. If they're asking you for d of 3, you will simply find f of 3. But if not, you will go ahead and plug in your function. Always check your signs. I sometimes tend to be in a rush and I don't check my signs. Once I have it, what do? I go back and change the value to 3 because they're asking me to evaluate at 3. So either way, you will end up with the same answer, as you can see. I would like to go ahead and do this function. I will simply go ahead and type in as it looks. So g of m equal to square root m minus 4. And what are they asking me? They're saying, hey, find g of 5. And g of 5 is 1. There you go. I want to go ahead and do this problem here. So they said I have, oops, let me get my pen. I have 2x plus 2y is equal to 27. And they told me that x is my independent variable and y is my dependent variable. So what I need to do is I need to get y by itself. To do that, I will go ahead and subtract 2x on both sides. So I have 2y is equal to -2x plus 27. I divide by 2. What do I have? I have y is equal to -x plus 27 over 2. And again, keep in mind, when they say x is independent, I should have everything in terms of x. So do I have that? Yes, I do. Everything is in terms of x. And keep in mind, when it's a y value, I rewrite my y as f of x is equal to negative x plus 27 over 2. So I'm telling you that this is a function of x where x is your independent variable. Now if I go back and look for my options, my option here is negative x plus 27 over 2. And as you can see, that's exactly what we got. I would like to go ahead and do the next problem as well. They're asking us for the domain and range. So when they say domain and range, let me expand this here. Domain is all my x values. Oh, come on. So my domain is, let me expand this. Don't give me a hard time, I'm in a class. Okay. So my domain, can you all see that? That's very light, isn't it? I think my recording got disconnected, so let me go back and do that again. My domain is all x values. My range is all my y values. So when they ask me for the domain, here the domain is, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my domain 1, as you can see, 2, 3, and 4. My range, this is my domain. My range is all the y values, which is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Domain is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Range is all the y values, which is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Domain is x, range is y. This will be the last problem for the session. You have to write this in terms of a mathematical expression. So let me go ahead and read this first, and I want you to pay attention how I am doing the problem. The difference of, so they say difference, so let me go ahead. Difference is subtraction, right? Difference of what? Twice a number. So if the number is x, twice a number is 2x, and 7. So as you can see, I'm writing it as I read. Difference. So this is my difference of twice a number and 7 is equal to 17. So I know I add 7 on both sides. I have 2x is equal to 24, and I have x is equal to 12. And one more thing, if they say consecutive numbers, then you will use x and x plus 1. And always be careful when you're changing these sentences into mathematical expressions. I hope this video helps. If you still have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, text me, or send a picture using the chat. And good luck.